I'm 76 years old. My husband, Daniel, is 79. And for almost 8 years after I turned 65, we slept in the same bed and lived like two careful strangers sharing a mortgage, a medicine cabinet, and a weather report. That is the hard truth about sexless marriages after 65. Most of the time, it is not about age, and it is not even about sex. It is about what nobody is brave enough to say out loud. The lie I told myself was this: we're too old for all that now. I said it in my head when he reached for me. I said it when I locked the bathroom door to change my clothes. I said it when he kissed my cheek and I turned it into a polite little smile. We're too old for all that now. No, that was not wisdom. That was fear in a house coat, and fear gets very, very quiet. I want you to hear me. A sexless marriage after 65 is rarely just about what stopped happening at night. It is about what stopped happening all day. The hand on the back, the teasing in the kitchen, the look across the room that says, "You are still mine. I still see you." When that disappears, the bed tells the truth. I remember the exact night I realized how far gone we were. January 11th. Cold rain tapping the den windows. Wheel of Fortune still glowing on the television. Daniel in his brown recliner with his reading glasses halfway down his nose, doing that little throat clear he does before he says something that matters. I was folding towels, white ones, the good ones from Costco we only started buying after the children moved out and stopped ruining everything with muddy hands and acne cream. He looked at me and said, "Come sit down with me a minute." Just that. A simple sentence from a man I had been married to for 49 years. And I felt my whole body tense, not because I hated him. That would have been easier because I knew what he wanted, not sex exactly. Closeness, warmth, and opening, and I had spent years becoming a locked door. So I did what women like me do when we don't want to tell the truth. I made an excuse that sounded reasonable. "My knees are acting up," he nodded, said, "All right then," and turned back to the television. But that was not what happened. What happened was this. My husband reached toward me, and I taught him one more time not to bother. That is how these marriages go cold. Not in one dramatic betrayal, not usually in tiny withdrawals, tiny flinches, tiny punishments. A woman saying she is tired when what she really is she is hurt. A man saying no problem when what he really feels is humiliation. Then both people go quiet. Then they call the quiet maturity. Then they call it age. Then they call it normal. And by the time they call it a problem, they have been lonely for so long, they do not know where to put their hands. I need to tell on myself because for years I blamed Daniel. I blamed his long work hours in the 1990s. I blamed the fishing trips. I blamed the way he used to come home from the machine shop smelling like oil and metal and exhaustion and fall asleep in front of the news before I even finished loading the dishwasher. I blame the recital he missed in May of 2003. Our daughter Rachel had a solo, blue satin dress, white bow crooked in her hair. I saved him a seat in the third row. He never came. "Emergency at work," he said. Maybe that was true, but I can still see that empty chair. And I stored that chair inside my body for years. That is what some women do. We do not scream. We archive. We keep every disappointment in neat little folders. The anniversary dinner he forgot. The time he laughed when you tried on a red dress and you were not sure if he was laughing at the joke or at you. The season after your hysterectomy when you felt fragile and swollen and old before your time and he did not know the right thing to say. So he said almost nothing. You tell yourself you're just being realistic. No, honey, you are keeping score, and scorekeeping is poison in a marriage. By the time Daniel retired, he had changed. That is the part I hate admitting. He really had changed. He slowed down. He listened more. He started making coffee before I came downstairs. He would cut orange slices and leave them in that blue bowl I like, because after 70, my stomach got fussy in the mornings. He asked if I wanted to walk after dinner. He sat closer on the sofa. He reached for my hand during the insurance commercials, and I rejected him anyway. Do you know why? Because I was still married to the man he used to be. Not the one sitting in front of me, the old one, the one from 2003. The one from all those missed evenings and distracted years. I was punishing present-day Daniel for a man who no longer lived in my house. That is a wicked thing to do to somebody, especially when they are trying. Especially when both of you are old enough to know better. But hurt can become an identity if you let it. Strong woman, independent woman. Woman who doesn't need all that. I wore those titles like armor, and armor may protect you, but it also keeps you from being held. By 72, my body had changed so much I barely felt like myself. My waist was thicker, my breasts sat lower, the skin on my arms had that soft looseness nobody warns you about. I started changing in the bathroom with the fan running. I bought beige cotton sleep shirts 3 sizes too big. Not because they were comfortable, because they hid me. Daniel would say, "You look nice." And I would shrug like he was being silly. But inside I was ashamed that desire did not show up the way it once had. Ashamed that tenderness sometimes felt easier than sex, and sex felt harder than words, and words felt hardest of all. So I hid. Then I called the hiding getting older. No, listen to me. Some things do change with age. Energy changes, bodies change, comfort changes. What does not have to disappear is honesty. What does not have to disappear is affection. What does not have to disappear is the feeling that your spouse can still reach you. That is what we lost, not youth. Access. It came to a head on our 50th anniversary, September 18th, a little inn in Vermont. Our son booked for us because he said, "Oh, you two need to get out of the house and be romantic for once." There was a gas fireplace that clicked too loudly, a bowl of fake pears on the dresser, one vanilla candle burning on the little table by the window, leaning sideways because the room was not level. We had roast chicken downstairs, talked about our grandson's braces, talked about gas prices, talked about the waitress's tattoo. 50 years of marriage, and that was our anniversary conversation. Back in the room, I stood at the sink rubbing cold cream into my face. So Daniel sat on the edge of the bed and said, very quietly, "Evelyn, am I your husband or just the man who takes out the trash?" I can still hear those words. I can still see his hands, big hands, veins standing up. Wedding band loose from the weight he lost after his bypass. He was not angry. That was the awful part. He was tired. Tired of knocking. Tired of guessing. Tired of living beside a woman who had become polite instead of loving. And something in me broke because he did not say, "Why don't we have sex?" He said, "Am I your husband? Do you understand the difference?" That is the real wound in a sexless marriage after 65. It is not frequency. It is not performance. It is not some ridiculous number. It is whether the person beside you still feels chosen, still feels welcome, still feels like they have a place to lay their heart down without being embarrassed for it. I sat on the little bench by the window, could not even look at him at first. And for once in my life, I stopped defending myself. I did not say my joints hurt. I did not say we were tired. I did not say this is just what happens when people get old. I said, "I'm angry with you for years you can't go back and fix." Then I said, "I'm ashamed of my body." Then I said the ugliest truth of all. I got so used to protecting myself, I forgot how to let you love me. Daniel covered his face and cried. I had seen that man cry 3 times before. When his father died, when Rachel moved to Oregon, and when they wheeled him into surgery in 2018 and he squeezed my fingers so hard, my rings left dents. That night in Vermont was the 4th. He said, "I thought you stopped wanting me." And there it was, 8 years of damage in one sentence. I thought he had failed me. He thought I no longer wanted him. Both of us were living inside stories we had never actually spoken. That is what silence does. It writes a cruel story for each person, and both stories feel true. The next morning, we drove home with the radio off. No miracle, no movie ending, no sudden rebirth under a quilt, just 2 old people on Interstate 91 with travel mugs between us and a marriage laid open on the dashboard. So what did we do? Not anything flashy. Nothing young people selling books and podcasts. We started with truth in broad daylight. That matters. Do not start this conversation in the dark, in bed after another disappointing night. That room is too loaded. Too much history, too much pressure. Sit at the kitchen table at 2:00 in the afternoon with coffee or soup or your reading glasses on and say plain words. I miss us. I'm scared. I've been punishing you. I feel rejected. I don't know how to come back. Say the thing. Second, stop hiding behind age when the real problem is silence. Age may change the shape of intimacy. It does not require emotional exile. Talk about what hurts. Talk about what feels different. Talk about medication, sleep, grief, dryness, embarrassment, weight gain, fear, all of it. Not as a performance review, as honesty. We did that. And once the truth was in the room, the shame got smaller. Third, rebuild touch with no agenda. That saved us more than anything. No reaching that secretly demands a result. No hand on the thigh with a test attached to it. Just warmth. I touched his shoulder while he chopped celery. He rubbed my feet while we watched the weather. I leaned against him in line at the pharmacy. We held hands walking from the church parking lot to the fellowship hall, slow as turtles. And I'm telling you, that little walk felt more intimate than half the nights we spent pretending years earlier. Not every touch has to audition for sex. Sometimes touch is how trust learns your address again. Fourth, apologize specifically, not sorry for everything. That is lazy. I told him I was sorry for every time I pulled away just to make him feel what I had once felt. I told him I was sorry for using old injuries as permission to stay cold. I told him I was sorry for making him earn warmth from a woman who still loved him. And Daniel apologized too. For the distracted years, for the empty chair at Rachel's recital, for all the practical things he gave me while forgetting I also needed tenderness. That mattered. Because sexless marriages do not heal with tricks. They heal when two people finally stop lying about what the distance is costing them. It was not the age, it was the silence. It was not the age, it was the silence. It was not the age, it was the silence. Please do not wait as long as I did to say that. Because one day, one of you will leave that bed for the last time. One day there will be one mug by the coffee pot, one robe on the bathroom hook, one dent in the mattress. And your regret will not be some dramatic thing. It will be small, sharp, ordinary. It will be, why did I waste so much time pretending I was fine? Daniel is in the garage right now while I say this. He is probably reorganizing screws that were already organized, because that man has been retired for 12 years and still treats a toolbox like a moral duty. And last Thursday, I walked past him, touched the back of his neck, and he leaned into my hand like it was the most natural thing in the world. That 1 second nearly took me to pieces, because I realized something. At this age, intimacy is not about proving you are still young. It is about refusing to become unreachable. So here is my warning to you. If you are over 65 and your marriage has gone polite, if you keep calling the distance normal, if you keep saying we're too old for all that now, stop. Stop tonight. Before the dishes, before the news, before one of you disappears into a phone or a crossword or a fake little excuse about being tired. Look at the person you build a life with and say something real. Say, I miss you. Say, are you lonely with me? Say, I don't want to grow old as your roommate. Because the hard truth about sexless marriages after 65 is not that passion dies. It is that too many people let silence do the killing. And if the person you love is still under your roof, you are not out of time. But you are later than you think. So tell me, what are you going to say before bedtime?